I want bad things to happen. I want pain. I want suffering because it only makes us better. Don't run away from it. Embrace the pain. There's no success without pain. There's no success without struggle. Embrace it and move past it. So by the end of this year, both of my businesses combined will do over 7 figures in top line revenue. And I want to go ahead and share some of the things that I've learned to get to this point at the age of 22 years old, right? At the age of 22, I run and manage 2 different companies. One is a B2B AI agency. We're predominantly focused in the healthcare space. Second entity is a consulting business in which we license all of our systems from our agency to help people that are trying to start and scale their own agency or trying to add an AI offer to their existing business. For example, we've had clients that are in the cybersecurity space that want to add a layer to their offer because they have an existing clientele that are demanding AI. And so, being able to get to this point, it wasn't always like this. As a matter of fact, I may insert some clips of when I was first starting this journey out at 18 years old.
Welcome to THL Media. My name is Nick Scheller, and welcome to the website.
Be open to the possibility of making changes and innovating. Why? Because innovation in business is key. Always innovating. The top businesses, even McDonald's, bro, they're set, but they're constantly finding new ways to outperform their competitors.
They want, and in the schedule page, they offer the time and date that we want to meet, and then they meet with one of your sales associates or reps, and you take care of the normal sales strategy and normal sales process.
And kind of the journey in the process to get to the point where I finally feel like I can make a video and share some of my experience because I have the revenue, I have the stats, I have the clientele to back up everything that I'm saying. And I'm not just talking from theory, I'm talking from actual experience to be able to share tangible lessons to ultimately help, potentially the 18-year-old version of myself that would be watching this get and grow to the points of where I am today. So very raw. Right now I'm filming at 10:34 p.m. in Miami, Florida. And it's funny because I used to make these videos the exact same way. Just want to make sure the mic is, I used to make these exact videos when I was first starting out. I would go late at night and I would film myself. I would document because I was fascinated with the idea of being able to see my journey across, a 4 or 5 year timeline. And just the journey itself is one thing that people take for granted. That's the first lesson that I want to learn, or I want to explain. A lot of times we have an objective or an end goal in mind, whether it's something financially, whether it's an object, a car, a house, a destination, that this end objective is what we're always working towards. And we will achieve X reaction or X emotion when we get to that result, right? We'll finally feel good, or we'll finally feel happy, or we'll finally feel fulfilled. But what I've learned recently is that it's never really the objective, right? I've gotten the apartment, I've gotten the cars, I've gotten the dinners, I've gotten the experiences, the travel, and every single time those things will fade away, right? And so what you come to realize is it's not the material thing, it's not the objective, it's not the destination, it's not the financial revenue mark of $100,000 plus per month. Those things feel great in the moment, and then you hit this dopamine crash, right? Because what we call it is dopamine reward prediction error, right? And a lot of times people experience this after a championship won or they exit their business. That pinnacle moment, that peak moment that they thought would change their life ends up feeling not as they thought it would, and they don't get the same dopamine as they expected. And what happens is they end up hitting a crash. A lot of times people get depressed or they just feel like they lack purpose, they lack fulfillment, they don't wake up, they don't have the energy that they once did when they were building. And that's the answer right there, is when you're building, when you're going through the process, the grind, the challenges, the problems, the emotions of like, is this going to work? That's where the fulfillment is. The end result is literally just a byproduct of all of the work that you're doing, all of the sacrifice, all of the times where you're staying up late, you're going through tensions, you don't know if it's going to work, the people are doubting you. That's the true fulfillment. Being able to prove to yourself, not the people around you, people's opinions, as we'll get into later, don't actually affect you. It's proving to yourself your capabilities, what you are worth, what you are meant to become, right? Which leads me directly into my second point, which is you don't need to change. You don't need to change who you are. You need to align the actions of your future self that already exists. And you need to do those exact same actions of your future self, and you don't need to change who you are at your substance. There's a version of yourself that is doing the things that you want to do, that you visualize deep at night when you're laying in bed and you're looking around and you feel like this lack of fulfillment. There's a version of yourself that makes those choices, that takes those risks, that builds those businesses, that goes after the girl, that does literally what you want to do, that you know you can do. There's a version of yourself that is doing it, but you have to think about what does that version do? What do they say? How do they act? What are the micro habits? How do they take certain situations and make decisions? The moment you start to align your actions with that future version of yourself is the moment you align and become that version that you were always meant to become. The third lesson is curiosity. This is something that is extremely important to me, is curiosity. Always remain curious, right? The moment we lose curiosity is the moment we become stagnant, is the moment we become complacent. Curiosity gets you one step closer to the truth. Every time you're curious, every time people, and we've seen this all throughout history, every time there's a new innovation, a new invention, it's always when someone was curious. It's never because someone just said, oh, okay, here's this problem, it exists, duh. No, it's curiosity that is the mother of invention, truthfully. Curiosity is the mother of invention. It's the mother of innovation, right? Because being curious allows us to question why things work a certain way, why they don't work a certain way, which then allows us to come to a conclusion if something new can be developed. Most people are simply just drifting, they're existing. They take everything at face value, and therefore they fail to innovate, they fail to find new solutions, they fail to grow. That's the most important thing, is by learning new things, by seeing things through a different lens, it allows us to tap into a version of ourselves that we wouldn't have yet known unless we were curious. I'll end this video with a message to my younger self, which is always remain grateful, gratitude. Recently, I hit a very nice milestone in which it's a big accomplishment for us as a team, as we've worked extremely hard as a team collectively to get there. But as well as the personal objective of mine was always to be able to hit this revenue mark, in which we did. And it showed me, one, again, there's a version of myself that is doing, accomplishing all the things that I already know I can do. But two, it allowed me to become grateful, right? I hit the point where I was being ungrateful, and I noticed and I saw myself having a lack of gratitude for all of the times where I was always trying to hit this objective, and I finally hit it. And right when I hit that moment, I was like, it's not enough, we gotta keep going. Yes, it's great, but there's new levels to reach. As opposed to being grateful, sitting there and having the gratitude of all of the times where I was struggling, all of the times where I was mentally trying to make this a reality. So, very short video. I just want to quickly document something. Maybe I post this, maybe I don't. In all reality, or in conclusion rather, if you're at the point in your life where you see the opportunity, I'm not going to pitch you in anything, but look, just know that there's massive opportunity with AI. The point in which I was able to get to my life and where I am is because of the technology that we have present today. I figured out a solution to a lot of businesses' problems, and therefore businesses pay us consistently every single month because we're solving a very consistent problem in a very hot market. If you've been trying to get into AI, then there's a couple of links that you can go through down there. I encourage you to, if you have been exploring the idea of AI, you start doing your research, and most importantly, you execute, you take action. That would be my last lesson, is most people have ideas. Ideas are free. Everyone can have an idea of what they want to achieve, what they want to execute, but most people fail to do the latter, which is the actual execution. Taking action, materializing your ideas so that you can tangibly see them, feel them, and not die with your ideas, because how shameful would that be? Knowing that there's a version of yourself that had the best idea, but because you were too afraid of risk or getting scammed or your own limiting beliefs, you weren't able to get to your objectives. That is the worst thing that you can do. And so this is your reminder. You're watching this for a reason. If you have these big objectives, just do it. You have one life. You don't have a second chance. You have one life to execute on all of the goals and ideas that you've been given. So don't waste it. Don't waste it. Execute on your ideas. Get them done. Get rid of all of the BS that people put on you and just do it. Don't think. Think about it later. The worst thing in your life that can happen is the best thing that can happen to you. Whatever you visualize as the worst thing, I promise you, is the best thing that will happen to your life, because you will come out stronger. You will grow and you will learn from it. I want bad things to happen. I want pain. I want suffering, because it only makes us better. Don't run away from it. Embrace the pain. There's no success without pain. There's no success without struggle. Embrace it and move past it.